Hey, what's up, guys? It's Clint. I'm back with another episode of Versus. And what are we talking about today? Well, I'll tell you what we're talking about today. We are talking about Free Guy versus The Atom Project. Two Ryan Reynolds movies that were awesome. We're going to do a review and a discussion. But we're not going to talk too in depth about the Atom Project because I don't want you guys to get completely spoiled in case you haven't seen it yet. It just came out today. So I saw it late last night, and I've been waiting to talk about it all day with my homie Curtis. That's right. But where is Curtis? Right here. Bam! Curtis, what's up, man?
Hello, all of you beautiful, wonderful people.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. It's the Friday.
You're looking great. You're looking great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's spring break. So as a teacher,
it's party time, is what you're trying to say.
Begins again, yes.
Yes.
Very much so. I get to do all this stuff that I've been putting up forever.
Nice, man. There's the Versus logo. There's my Versus thing in the corner. I was like, where did Versus go? Man, it's a good time to be a Ryan Reynolds fan if you're watching TV, because right now we are getting slammed with fun, interesting Ryan Reynolds properties. I almost said introducing. And right now on streaming, you can find on Netflix, you can find the Atom Project, which is the picture back up here, right behind us. Or you can also find Free Guy on HBO if you're an
or Disney Plus.
Or Disney Plus. So there's a lot of Ryan Reynolds, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of family fun, and these are some good feeling movies. And I enjoyed both of them, and I'm excited to hear what your thoughts were about these movies. But before we get into it, Curtis, let's look in our chat, see who's in here. Let's see what we got going on. Lost my live chat, says Bobby. That's not how Bobby sounds. That's just how I read. Me too, Bobby. I can see you, Bobby. What's up, Clint and Curtis, Jedi Master EJ? I think it kicked us off because we started late, and it gave us a new feed. Is I think what happened. We got Mel Kennedy in the house. We got Jedi Master EJ. We got Bobby, and we got Bakertown is in the in the chat, which is weird because Bakertown's right here. How'd you do that, Curtis?
Always. Oh, just magic.
Science.
I always love. Yeah. Get on and chat with our folks.
Yeah, man.
I'm used to being in the chat for small screen, so I got to get on and.
So why wouldn't you be in the chat here
as soon as possible?
Well, let's
exactly. Yeah.
Let's do a poll. Who has seen the Atom Project, which is the new Ryan Reynolds movie? Anybody? Me. Our hands are cut off. Curtis, where's our hands? You gotta high five me. You gotta turn it around.
Wait.
Get it towards you. Back.
I'm working.
Back a little further. There you go. Now forward. Boom. Dude, that's hard to do. Anybody give? You like his commercials? Who's Ryan Reynolds commercials? Are you talking about for the whiskey or the phone carrier? Bobby comes here for spoilers, so she's not worried about it. All right. Like I said, if you've seen the trailer, it kind of gives you the synopsis of what's going on, and you can use your imagination to figure it out. We're not here to talk spoilers. We're here just to talk about the movie.
Spoil the ending. Yeah,
we're not going to spoil the ending. We don't need to do that. But yeah, it was a fun. I'll start and say I think it was a fun movie. The cast was good. The story was good. It gave me some Last Starfighter vibes, just from the trailer. When I saw the the movie, it was nothing like The Last Starfighter, but
No.
it did give me some 80s vibes, like the sets, the house, and just the feel of what's going on. It really gave me 80s vibes, the same way that Stranger Things does. You know, it just has it has the stuff, that feel. And I liked it. It took me back to like when I was a kid and watching fun movies, adventure movies, like when I was a kid. It was very much, and in that respect, it is like The Last Starfighter. You know what I mean? It was that same kind of
Yeah.
kid 80s movie feeling that I enjoy. Uh,
Mhm.
5 viewers on Facebook. Most I've seen it once. All right.
Hey.
Yeah. What about you?
Welcome back, Mel. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, Mel said, sorry for missing last week. Don't be sorry. Hey, you got a life too. We're glad to have
Shame
you
on
back, though.
you. Shame on you. Just kidding. Hey, we're just glad to have you, man. We don't care when you show up. We're
Yeah.
just glad you show up. And speaking of that, so while we're doing plugging, guys, if you want to help us out, like, share, subscribe, click that
Yeah.
notification bell, tell your friends about us. That's how this channel grows. And without doing these kind of announcements, actually nothing happens. I don't think it makes a difference whether we do this announcement or not. But you know, here we are.
But
Yeah, but
but
it does. It really does help if you're like, hey, work friend. I think you should watch my
yeah.
friend's stream because I enjoy hanging out with them every Friday night. And you should too. And when you say stuff like that and then they show up, we all have a good time. What do you think, Curtis?
Honestly, even in even in today's digital this and that media, like the word of mouth is still the best advertising you can get. Period. Because somebody you trust tells you something, then you're more likely to believe it. So yeah, the sharing's probably the most important part. Thank you so much for being subscribers and all that good stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
tell
and
somebody, hey, you like seeing two Texans bullshit? Hey, this is the show for you.
yeah, do you hear about the vegan Texan? He didn't know which to tell about people about first.
Huh?
You know, like vegans have to tell everybody they're vegan, and Texans too. They're like, he didn't know which one to brag about. He didn't know which one to brag about first. Yeah,
He
I,
didn't know.
you see what I did there? Oh
He
boy.
didn't know it.
Yeah, like I have these QR codes that I'll do. You can't even see them, but I have like answering for a friend, small screen, and then this channel. And when I'm out in public and I'm talking to people, and they're like, "Dude, what is your?" I got tired of telling them slash Clint Clint Baker channel. Like, what's the show called? Versus what? And so I just made QR codes. Now I'm like, here it is. Why don't you scan this and subscribe right now? I think I've gotten more in-person subscribers than anything, to be honest. Um,
That's
and
pretty cool.
and speaking of which, thank you, gang, for hanging out. Watch the Adam Project today. Fun movie. All right. How anybody else
Yeah.
out there watch it? Huh? Eh? I don't think so,
Welcome,
but
Sandra.
I don't think anyone cares.
But if you haven't yet, definitely check this out. I had seen the preview for it. I was kind of it did give me Last Starfighter vibes, but that wasn't a good thing. I'm not a fan of that movie. When I was a kid, sorry, I tried to get into it. I'm not saying it's bad or anything, but like I've seen it and I just
Just kidding,
it was you know,
dude.
but
Finnegan begin
it
again.
I'm not saying it's bad. I just like it's, but it I just like I didn't like never got it. It was never a big thing for me. Um, but this movie was pretty damn good. Like to be honest with you, like it's definitely fun. It's the same director as Free Guy, which we're going to talk about, and it kind of like it's good at hitting you in the feels too. Like it hits you pretty good in the feels, um, and like it could have done some other things in my opinion, but and we can talk about that in a little bit. But overall, I mean, this was a pretty damn good movie. It's a Ryan Reynolds movie, so you kind of know what you're getting into. But it was good.
I agree with you, man. And I like this story. It was like it was not a completely played out story or generic like it was cool. There's some time travel
Yeah.
going on and it
Hmm.
was cool. And I also liked they talk about they talk about how the timelines work and things like that. If you go and you
Mhm.
change time, or what if you do something else like Back to the Future, or they talk about how that works out. And I was like, hey, that's a cool way
Yeah,
to make
I
your way
agree.
of doing things. That's like that's their way of doing things, and it works. I was like, that's cool. Um,
Mhm.
there once it got to some of it, I started getting a little bit of not to be a negative Nelly, but I did get a little bit of of Power Rangers kind of like cheap, cheesy kid movie kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Want some of the action and some of the fighting here and there. Uh, but it's, you're watching a sci-fi movie, and
Mhm.
not everything looks exactly like Star Wars or Star Trek. What do you think?
No, but that's yeah, that's kinda one of the complaints, I would say, but again, I do think, like you were saying, like, honestly, whenever Clint recommend I had seen the trailer and Clint recommended it to me, or was talking about it, and, he was like, "You looks like something you can watch with your kids." I didn't, because I actually watched it while I was at work, but, like, I'm totally gonna watch this with my kids, and it was kind of it leans that way. So, like, some of the decisions I didn't necessarily weren't bad, but I didn't like them, like, stuff like kinda like that, what you were saying, it did get into the, fightery, Power Rangery stuff kinda realm for a little bit, but, that's definitely for the kids stuff.
Yeah, it felt
Um
like a kid. It reminded me like Spy Kids or like some kids movies action, but they've found cheap ways to do it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I feel like these guys use their budget on the A-list actors, because
Yeah,
boy did it have a
for sure.
cast. The cast was fantastic. You had Ryan Reynolds, Jennifer Garner, Zoe Saldana, Mark Ruffalo, I'm Catherine Keener, or Keener, excuse me. Like everyone in this show was good. The kid that played Ryan Reynolds as a young man was awesome. He
It
was
was
he was
yeah, I
he
agree with that.
and he did a spot on job as doing a Ryan Reynolds impression. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He played
Yeah.
himself, but at the times, like there was a lot of fast talking, like smart ass, funny lines, of course, because that's Ryan Reynolds' thing. He talks
Mhm.
really fast and says funny. Blah 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 blah. Just kidding, sort of. Blah blah blah. He like has a lot of
Yeah.
fast stuff, and this kid could totally hang. It was really good. I really
Mhm.
enjoyed it. Yeah. And Sandra, you said I wouldn't pay to see it in the theater. You wouldn't have to, because it's on Netflix, so you wouldn't have to.
It
Also, it's for
but what
kids, and so I wouldn't expect you to see it. Like it's a
w
kid show.
and
It works for
she's got a
adults
pretty
too, but
yeah, oh, for sure, and she's got a pretty perfect review of it. She said, "Not complicated, but fun."
mhm.
That's a pretty good one. What's interesting too, it is in theaters. I didn't know that
Is it?
Netflix movies went to the
No,
yeah, I just
they've
well,
been
what
doing that lately. They've been doing that with
huh,
some releases.
huh. So, I didn't know they've been doing that, and, yeah, I was Googling it for something else, and, Mel says her parents canceled Netflix last month. Oh,
Mel, I
man.
heard that they're going to have a cheaper tier where it has ads, but you can still check it out. Like some people are like, okay, this this Netflix business is getting ridiculous because they just upped their prices again. I think what is it, like 14 or $15 a month now. It's like it keeps going up. I remember when it was like 7.99, but now it's like twice that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but I heard that they're coming out with a cheaper tier that has ads, which is interesting, and it makes me
Hmm.
wonder: are they doing this because if you start inviting cheaper tiers with ads, you can keep raising the price of your premium stuff. You know what I mean? Like, because I
Yeah.
know
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
Disney's talking about doing this too, which they said they would never do it. Now all of a sudden they're doing it, and I know like Paramount Plus has a tier that's got ads. Hulu and Peacock, they all have tiers that have ads and stuff. So like, and I'm like, oh yeah, you don't want to do that, but if you don't want ads, you can pay to not have ads, so that makes sense. But if you don't offer a cheaper tier, like Netflix has and Disney Channel haven't offered cheaper tiers, so they've been this price. You're paying a premium price, but at the same time, you know what you're getting. You're getting quality content, and you're getting all the Disney stuff that you're getting, and then Netflix is, known for cranking out a bunch of stuff. That's fine, and you're like, cool. Those are my two diehards that I pay for no matter what, and then I add on
Yeah.
whatever else. But that's when you only have this. But if you have say 12.99, you're peaking. People are starting to get tired of that. But then all of a sudden you start a 6.99 tier with ads, and then you could raise the other one to 15, because if you don't want to pay 15, you could just get the cheap one. Like, it feels like you get more leeway to raise your prices even more if you have a budget tier. What do you think?
No, yeah, it's like freemium gaming, like they're kind of going down that same path, and it's I mean, it pisses me off, but at the same time, it's the same thing the cable companies did. Like, it'd be like, oh, well, it's only $20 a month, and then you sign on, and then like, uh, in a year or two, you're like, wait a minute, I'm paying like $130. Like, what just happened? Uh, it's so annoying that they do this.
That's
And
it's,
more options is always better.
mhm.
But I do agree that that's why they're doing it. Is it so they can say, well, you don't want these ads, do you? Like, um,
before
I
you
don't
know
know,
it,
like
it's going to be more expensive than cable was. We were bragging. We're like, this whole time, we're like, yeah, we got rid of
no,
cable. And now we got all the, with a few, you get your few favorite channels that have all of this content you
yeah,
watch when you feel like it. We don't need cable. I spend $9.99 for Netflix, and
yeah,
and $6.99 for HBO Max, and four, and so I'm paying $25 for my stuff. Next thing you know, you're like, and then this one for $12.99, and then I need Paramount for Star Trek, so that's another $6.99. Then I need this other one because now there's Quibi. Don't forget Quibi. There's like all these.
huh?
I'm just kidding. They went broke. But there's all these channels that just keep coming out, and all of our IPs are spread out. You got Amazon. I got Amazon Prime. I'm not getting rid of that, so that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that's not
Um,
going anywhere. Yeah,
yeah, but you got all this stuff, and I'm like, I need Amazon. I need this. I need this. I need this. That's $150. What the hell
yeah,
just happened?
yeah. It's just like whenever me and my wife would be doing the budget and stuff because we don't buy, I don't, we don't go buy, the newest cars, the newest TVs, the newest phones. We're not, and be like, where's all our money going? And she does make like the bigger purchases normally, but then I would go and like, you know, uh fast food here, a Coke here. Like I'm like I never spend any money. I never, but it's like little things, a Coke here, a pack of cigarettes here, this or that, little things here and there. Like, and it's like, oh wait, I spent a crap ton of money last month on, but it was spaced out, so you don't think it's like, oh, it's only $3. It's only, oh, this is only $5. And then, when it comes down to it, it's gone.
Yeah, we got Sling, $35. Hulu with Showtime, $18, and Amazon.
Oh, I see, and that's the thing too. I want to get the
Sl-
food, Curtis, food. Yeah, I want to get the Showtime one too. Uh,
Showtime has some good
so
shows.
yeah, I know, and they got the new Dexter, which I want to check out.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, food, like that's the thing. And we don't eat out a lot. Like it's just like food is so expensive, and you know,
Food.
but yeah, every Friday,
Yeah.
we'll get pizza or something
Oh,
for the
look.
kids, and like, but yeah, like
There we go.
food's just that's where it goes.
Food's
And
insane, dude.
like yeah.
With
And
infl
when you're hungry, it doesn't matter. Like it's just like, okay, I'm buying this. Like you're just
And now this just turned into a stream about inflation, because holy crap, man, gas and everything else. How you gonna get
yeah.
Hulu? How you gonna get Hulu? Who? There we go. I'm having. Hold on.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, whenever it comes down to it, like
There we go.
everything's going up, but um at the same time, you kinda generalize it too with all this stuff because it's like, "Well, I'm gonna be sitting at home, so I might as well pay for these because I can't afford to go, like, out and do things, so you might as well pay for my entertainment."
Yeah, you kind of have to. You're like, what
Yeah.
else are you gonna do? Peacock is another the worst named channel ever. Peacock. Um,
Yeah, and she says others I don't remember, yeah, and that's the thing, poor Peacock.
Peacock. I
Poor,
thought that was
poor
a
Peacock.
Peacock. That sounds like a
Where do you get
R.
canceled? Stop it.
Kelly. R.
Stop
Kelly.
saying Peacock.
Peacock sounds like an R. Kelly video. Hey, what's up, dude? We got James. Chuck Berry. Take your
Hello
pick.
there.
Gas extra is 5. Holy crap. Yeah, man, it's getting nuts.
Oh,
Like
man.
it's getting nuts. And so who has time when you gotta when it costs you $5 to get home from work, then who has time to pay for a $15 for Netflix? You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah,
You almost got to work from home just to afford Netflix. It's crazy.
I mean, they need to do a, like a grandfather thing where it's like, because if you've been your that's one of the things that always bugged me about cable and all those other things. It's like they're so worried about new customers. They make these great deals, and it's like I've been a customer for freaking ever, and you're not throwing any money at me.
Yeah.
Like you're not helping me any. Like just they should be like, hey, all of you wonderful people who've been paying for our crap forever, like let's sign a fixed deal or something. Or I don't well. No, I don't want contracts with it. The whole point was no contract. But anyway, like just stay a customer and this will be your price for you know, 5 years or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. As far as the movie goes, there's time travel. There's dealing with relatives that are here, were here,
Mhm.
and are no longer here, and things like that. And um, you get you emotional when you go
For
back
sure.
and visit. I've lost my dad, and so it's like watching that stuff. It's like get hits you in the feels, like you said, and it's like, man,
Yeah.
it's like and getting to go and have conversations and things like that.
Mm.
It's like it's wow, and then you're dealing also where it's like with him, and I'm trying not to spoil much, what I mean, but there's a point in this movie where he realizes that he was kind of a shit when he was a little kid, and it makes me
Mhm.
wonder if that was some like some sly programming for the parent for kids that are out there watching this movie that's saying, "Hey man, quit being a little shit to your mom because when you
Yeah.
grow up and you're 40 years old, you're going to regret how you acted when you're a kid cuz most of us do like can look back and be like, "Man, when I was 11 or 12, I shouldn't have said this or I shouldn't have done that." You
Yep.
know what I mean? And it's like and this shows some scenarios where older kid gets to talk to his mom when he's the same age as his mom, and it's like it's pretty cool. But anyway, I was like, yeah, that might be some
But yeah.
subliminal programming for the young generation watching this. Like, hey man, don't be a jerk to your parents because your parents are just people, and you'll be their age one day.
It may very well have been, but it's not gonna stick. I
No,
tell
it's not. Of course, it's not going to stick. Of
it's not
course, they're like, "F you,
gonna
Dad."
whatever. But no, yeah, that's kind of the same thing. Yeah, I lost my dad not too long or well, I mean, I guess it's been a while now, but um and like I don't think we're spoiling anything. In the first 5 minutes, they talk. The father has died. The first 5 minutes of the movie, um, and but like it makes you feel stuff like that, and for sure, I tell my students and whoever will listen, like I I wish I could go back in time and punch myself in the nuts. I really do for some of the things I said to my parents whenever I thought I knew everything and was the king of everything. And you don't know how hard they're struggling just to keep your sorry ass alive, you know.
Yeah,
And like it hits home with stuff like that, and that's one of the issues I had with this movie. I think this is a very good movie. Um, it is definitely fun, um, but it has some dark tones to it that I don't think we're explore but it's a damn kids
But it
let's
is a
like I
kid
said,
movie. It just
yeah.
kinda it
I
just
mean,
kinda
it's a
scratches the
or a
surface.
family movie. Yeah, it's a because it's not I wanna we don't I don't wanna say it's a kids movie, like, you're not gonna enjoy it as an adult. You
It's a
will.
family movie.
Yeah, it's a family movie, yeah,
Yeah.
because you can sit and watch it with your kids. But but that's the thing too, watching it, I was like, I wish they would've explored that a little more. I wish it would've not a darker tone, I don't need everything dark and gritty, but, like, when it got there, it gets you to the edge of those feelings, and, like, I'm like, "I just kinda wanna cry it out now, come on," but then the movie is like, "Alright, action sequence," so
Yeah,
it brings you back out of it, like
they just kinda dip their toe in the water, but, like,
yeah.
also don't be jerks to your kids like my dad was, says Mel Kennedy. It addresses that
Well,
too. It
abs
it
yeah,
it
he does.
absolutely
Yeah.
addresses that to where it talks about, it shows a different perspective. And I don't, I do an advice show on another channel where I talk to people. I hear all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm not pretending to know what you're alluding to or anything like that. And everybody's got a different story, but they do cover some of that in this, where it's like, the kid when he was a kid, he had one perspective, and then as a adult, he's looking back and he's pissed about certain things that went a certain way in his life, and he has a different understanding. All of a sudden, he realizes there was more going on sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. It was very, like, again, dealing with some of those things and some of these. I think about other people's situations, and I consider a lot of variables, and I think about family relationships and things like that in a way that some people might not, because I do talk to people about different things and give advice and whatnot. And so I try to consider all perspectives involved and stuff. And watching this movie, I thought it was very intelligent writing.
Mhm.
Like even though it was a kid movie, they did consider a lot of things and include that into the writing of these different characters and what their perspectives were. And I thought that was very cool.
I agree, like, they do because that's the thing, you're gonna see certain things as a kid, and this might be one of it. It's not, for my kids or for somebody's kids, where they are like, they do, catch that perspective, and it again, it's not gonna change anything.
Yeah.
Your adults tell you all this stuff your whole life, and then you're like, "Whatever," and then you're like,
My
"Oh,
dad
wait, you
used to
know what?"
beat me with a
Yeah.
shovel, but I feel completely different after watching this Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's not
not
going to
yeah,
do that.
no, no. But at the same time too, like, certain things stick with you from movies and, like, just, getting a little perspective is always good. So that's the thing, it gives you like, Mel was talking about, it gives you the perspective, from the kids and then from the adults at the same time. So it is, a good family film or whatever. I mean, it's just a good movie, period. You don't have to have family and sit down and watch it. Um, but and yeah, like EJ says, he lost his grandpa Ted a while back, and he was his dad. Uh, he's learned from his dad's mistakes, and he's a better dad when he does the opposite of his dad. Um, to be honest with you, like, yeah, my grandparents or my granddads were my models for men. My dad was a very good dude, but also not. But like my models for manhood were kind of my granddads, and I was very lucky to have them. So it's kind of a families are all different, people are all different, and
And, and we're all
take the best from everything you see. Just take the best from everything you see, and you'll be all right.
and we're all just people. That's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
when with a kid looking up to their parents, they're supposed to be perfect. But dude, I look at yourself right now. It's like, dude, you're a person. All of a sudden, you get this
Yeah.
thing thrown in your lap that you're supposed to be the prime model for, and you know what? We're not all perfect. So it's like most of us aren't. It's wild.
Well, and so teaching, like, as a teacher, you go in there and, like, the majority of the time, it's like, man, you leave and you're like, the day, and you're like, man, that didn't go well. If you're talking about a lesson or a class or whatever it is, and you're like, oh man, they didn't get that. That didn't go well. And sometimes those few times, it's like, man, all right, we nailed it. This and that. That's basically being a parent every day. Like, that's the thing is that, like, you're like you go to bed and you're like, "Oh, man, what happened today?" Like, or you're like, "Oh, okay, all right, we had fun today." They actually, so, um, it's rough being a parent, but it's, the best thing in the world. Like,
Well, overall, like I said, some of the action sci-fi elements were really cool, and some of them were kind of campy. It's a little of both. There were
mhm,
really good things,
yeah.
but also really campy things, and I enjoyed this movie. I'm glad I saw it. Uh, how do you feel? Do you feel the same way?
Very much so, yeah, like, I probably ended up enjoying this one a little more than, a Free Guy just 'cause
Really?
Free Guy yeah, and we'll talk about Free Guy in a minute, but, I thought it was a little deeper, and, like,
Emotionally?
yeah, yeah, and I mean, that's, kinda what hit me, but, and a lot of the I do agree there was some good camp to it,
It was kind of
um
cool though the way he was able to go back to himself and as
mhm,
a grown up know what the kid needs and needs to hear and
yeah,
get to help himself out, like, you know what I mean, like,
yes,
which is
and
interesting
and
because you're like, I know what this kid's thinking and what he needs, and you
yeah.
can it was kind of cool.
And again, I'm not ruining any or spoiling anything because it happens in the first 5 minutes. But the kid gets beat up a lot, and he's kind of like those ass whoopings make you who you are, like that's part of who you become. You kind of need those, or not. And no, nobody needs to be bullied or picked
Yeah.
on us, but like that's if you're
Well,
gonna
some
become
people
me, like
might need.
that's it. Some people need an ass whooping. Don't get me wrong. Some people need yes, but nobody needs to be bullied, uh, and, like, it's so, yeah, I think it was a pretty darn good movie, man, and I definitely plan on I did not watch it with my kids, like I said, I watched it today at work, um, and, but I do plan on sitting down and watching it with them, and I think they'll enjoy it as well.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah, I feel like they did a good job. Netflix always worries me. Netflix has a really good, or excuse me, a really bad habit of casting recognizable people so that they have good-looking thumbnails to lure people in, and they do a crap movie. And this time they made a decent movie. So I'm glad about that, and I like the idea of thinking that this movie is going to be in the arsenal of movies for kids that are kids right now, and when I grow, like when they grow up like I did, I think back at movies like I said, The Last Starfighter, Goonies,
Mhm,
there's a whole bunch of movies that I could think back to what I watched when I was a kid. Lost Boys, you know what I mean? And I feel like, hey, this is a cool movie for a kid to have in his bag of movies, so, well, speaking of other cool movies and Ryan Reynolds, let's move on to the next one, which was Free Guy. That's right.
yeah.
Free Guy. Um, Free Guy. Holy crap. I really love this movie. I saw it in the theater, and what a surprise. Mainly because it was just a complete oh, Free Guy. Mainly because it is a very original subject matter and very original theme, and it was just fun. Like it was really a fun movie. You know what I mean? And we,
Mhm,
any this generation, especially the of gamers, uh, they we've been seeing NPCs, non-player characters, for a long time, and the
mhm.
idea that these guys are all living their life in this game is really cool to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And the idea that they're in a loop, we've been seeing since videos came out, we've been seeing these characters that kind of bumble around in a loop, and it's kind of neat to see the inner workings of this game and this world that they're living in with likable characters going through their loops, and and at this point, we're late in the game now where we can do spoilers on this movie. It's been out for months and months and months. You know what I mean? Like this, there's some AI involved that was embedded in this game, that this is the biggest, most popular game in the world, and there's some people that worked on some code for a different game, and basically Taika Waititi stole this code from them and built a game on top of it using their AI and stuff,
Mhm.
and so they're and actually the female Jodie Comer, who's playing Molotov Girl, who's in there with the glasses and stuff. She's that's her character, and of course that's Ryan Reynolds as himself as his NPC non-player character in the game. But she's the one who wrote this game with another guy who's played by Joe Keery, who plays Keys in the show, and they worked on this game together. Keys ends up going to work for this big game company that Taika Waititi owns, and she ends up not. And she's like kind of obsessed and plays this game a lot. And she's trying to find proof in the game that he used her code to create this world. And that's in a nutshell what the game is about. But the thing that's interesting is something happened. There was a spark in the game. Something happened that caused Ryan Reynolds' character to come alive, and there's some AI happening that's all of a sudden takes the world of it, like it starts its own life and make it becomes aware and starts making its own decisions
Mhm.
and doing things differently, and everyone thinks it's someone that hacked into the game, but it's not. And it turns out to be a fun ride. Everything looks larger than life. It's a game, so it looks like Grand Theft Auto or something. It's like looks huge and explosions and different things. And once you realize once you get in it and you realize what's going on, you're like, dude, this is great. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
really fun. It's funny. Um, and and all of a sudden you start to see this girl, Molotov girl, who's a real person, and Ryan Reynolds' character, who is, I guess, artificial intelligence, start to develop feelings for each other and start to, they start to create a friendship, and it's interesting. Eventually, she finds out that he's not real, that he's code, but it's code that she created, and it's just it's interesting, and it takes me back to like how weird is it going to be in the future when we're all jacked into the matrix with our VR and we start falling in love with code. It goes back to the Blade Runner 2049 where we're like talking about these holograms, or even the beings, you know what I mean, like the artificial I forgot what they're called in Blade Runner, but what are they called again? You remember?
Replicants.
Replicants, yeah, you know
Replicants.
what I mean? Like, oh, that's gross and weird. Is it? What if they get smart enough where you actually do have a relationship with your like this one's developing a friendship with the code, but with
Mhm.
Ryan Reynolds, but it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to think that man, as computers get smarter, are all of a sudden we're going to start making friends with these non-player characters in real life, and then they remember you, and the more times you play the game, the more they get to know you, and it becomes your buddy.
Mhm.
There's gonna be a lot of lonely people that aren't lonely anymore, that are just in their own world, talking, hanging out, their virtual friends. There'll be virtual friend
Yeah,
programs. I guarantee you, if they can get that smart, there'll
for
be
sure.
programs of just
That's
hey,
probably, like that's 10 years away. Like, I mean, like, I would think, like,
yeah. Well,
that
and
something like that's coming for sure.
I'll just say I really love this movie. I thought it was fun. It had some fun stuff at the end and a fun climax, and there was some cool kind of nods to Marvel and Star Wars, and it just made for a fun action adventure that was larger than life, and I really enjoyed it. So what do you think, Curtis? And then we'll get back to our creepy humans having emotions and relationships with computer stuff again, which I seem to always
Uh,
go back to.
that's well, I mean, it is a running theme for our show. First, have a good evening, Sandra. She's saying she says good night. Um,
Good night, Sandra.
uh,
Have a good night.
and EJ is AI. Hey, we got Phil here. Um, but no, I really like this movie. Again, I'll rewatch this one with my kids as well. It's a very fun movie, and that's the thing too. It's fun. I didn't want to like I didn't mean to like, I don't think I did, but, down talk it whenever I was talking about the other movie. The other movie was
Hmm.
very good too, but to me, the other one was a little bit deeper, but this one does have some depth as well. It's not just a fun shoot 'em up, or action kinda movie. They do argue, like, that they've created an artificial intelligence and, the money man is just ready to shut it down over nothing. They've created artificial life, artificial sentience, and, like, that's kind of a big deal. And
And not over nothing though. They're about to expose that he stole their game idea. That's why he's trying to shut it down. It's like he can't let them prove that he stole their stuff. So he's like, shut him down.
right, but at the same time, like, I mean, I could imagine him doing it just for the money too, like, from the character, and, like, it it does get into some and that's the thing too, like you were saying about the just the relationships, we can get into all that stuff in a minute, but, like, it does bring up some deeper topics, um, but it's just, I mean, a very fun movie. Ryan Reynolds is, being Ryan Ryan Reynolds, of course, and there's, like, all the, uh, fun things about it, um and that's yeah, I actually thought of that a little bit. And you know what else I thought of, was the movie, The Nines. I don't know if you've se or it was a very indie movie. So it was and Ryan Reynolds was in it. It's almost the same idea,
Huh.
same premise, very opening premise idea that he's in a video game, and it's called The Nines, and it was 10 or more years ago, 10 or 15 years ago,
2007.
and yeah, so it's an independent film, and, he was in it, and, it starts out with that same premise, like he's in a video game, and all this stuff keeps happening, and then I'm not gonna spoil that one, because it is I mean, that's a 15-year-old movie, but a lot of people haven't seen it, and it's, pretty cool. It's much more of a thinker. It's definitely not like Free Guy, but, it was pretty darn good. And but this one, I mean, it was good, and it had a bunch of fun cameos. Channing Tatum was in there and stuff like that, and just seeing the contrast of these people playing online who like the guy that was Channing Tatum, and then seeing him in real life,
Yeah, that was
like
hilarious.
just this guy sitting like sitting in a chair, like like
Channing Tatum dancing too was really
yeah,
hilarious. When he,
and yeah, so, yeah, this was a darn good movie, and, like, the mi like, once I think I've reached Ryan Reynolds fatigue, I'm like, "Ah, this fucking guy," like, I just watch one of his movies and I'm like, "No, no, I'm not there yet." Like, like, I just he's a darn good actor. I mean, he's fabulously good looking, like, he can, he's got it all, I guess. I mean, I don't know, like,
dude, right?
he plays the same damn character, but it works every time, he
But
plays Ryan Reynolds.
but he was also different in this role. It's like he was playing himself, and he did talk, but this one he was full of wonder. Like, you know what I mean? Wonder and like amazement and like naivety in this movie. Where in the other
Yeah,
one he knew what was going on. He was a little bit grizzled,
yeah.
and this one he's like
The other one, he
wow,
was yeah,
wow,
in
and
the
discovering
Adam
things and new feeling. Oh, okay, okay. He was real positive and like, oh, innocent almost, and it was really it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and
well,
even
no
him getting his ass kicked and stuff. There was a funny moment at the end that was like, um, that he plays a different character that was hilarious. This was just was not a dark movie whatsoever.
no,
It was
no.
just fun. The only person I didn't like in this movie was Taika Waititi. His character annoyed me, and I like him 99%
His
of
yeah,
the
his
times.
character sucked, yeah, but
And
he
I mean that means he did a good job. You know what I mean? He's
yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
be yeah, it might
exactly.
mean but I was like, God, I don't like
And
this character.
the girl, Molotov, like,
Yeah, yeah,
she
Jodie
was
Comer.
I don't know who she is, but, like, she was, just faking me out the whole time, like, going because and
What
I
do you
think it
mean?
was, well, it was obviously purposeful at first, like, because you can see the transition at the end, like, but, like, going, like, from, like, she's attractive, like, and then, "Oh, wait, she's kinda weird looking," like,
She
I
does
mean,
look
she
weird in
like,
her Molotov getup, you know what I mean? Like,
and and then yeah, but it was, like, going through this back and forth thing, like and then at the end, whenever everything was resolved and, like, they're gonna get together and stuff, like, she just, woke up, "Oh, yeah, she's attractive, okay, like, I get it." Like, and I'm not saying by any means she's ugly or anything like that, but, like, you could there was they definitely made a
or that
good
it being
they
attractive even matters. She just looks
well,
weird
yeah,
looking because she's in her character skin, you know?
yeah, and that's yeah, like, it wasn't, but it wasn't a it it was but it was so to me, it was definitely purposeful, is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say, and it worked very well, so it's like she was, like, portrayed it perfectly, like,
And she's a
because
great
it was
actress.
like
I really liked her in this show. The whole show was good. Like I
mhm,
I think the casting was good all around too. Like
mhm,
just about everybody in the show was good. It's like I enjoyed this. This was a fun ride when I saw it in the theater, and it holds up because I saw it again last night and this morning. I watched it last night and I finished it this morning, and it held up. I was like, cool. It wasn't an
yeah,
accident. This is a fun movie. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Free Guy. It's really good. I found a hole. There was a thing in this movie that did bother me. We're doing
mhm,
spoilers. If you don't want to like be spoiled, uh, go away now. But what bothered me is that there's a point where they're out and they're having bubblegum ice cream and they're out there
mhm,
and like and he's like, "Hey, can I kiss you?" And she's like, yeah, if there's a move for that or like if you know how to do that, you know what I mean?"
mhm,
And
yeah,
he's not playing the game. He is in the game, so he just
it's
does it
part
cuz
of the
that's
game,
what
yeah,
yeah. Now later on when she has to make him remember and she decides to kiss him, she kissed him. How the hell did she kiss him if she's there? Is there a move for that? She didn't know how to do that in the game. How the hell does she just kiss him all of a sudden? Like what controller function did she do to kiss him? Because she's not just living in the game. She's got to control and know how. Oh yeah, you got to hit Control K
yeah.
and to do that. Like how did she kiss him in
I
the
thought
game?
the same thing,
I
yeah,
was like, this
yeah,
is some
I
bullshit.
thought the same thing,
They
yeah,
just ruined the whole movie for me. The kiss was bullshit.
mhm.
How the hell did she kiss him? Somebody tell me.
I thought
She learned
we're
via
waiting.
osmosis. Okay,
Fair enough.
there
Oh,
you go.
snap. Well, okay, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, what the hell was that?
And, uh, yeah, I mean, like, it was just a good movie, like,
Exactly. You got nothing because there's no answer.
yeah,
I want Ryan Reynolds to personally tell me, "Oh, dude, blah blah blah." Like that's the only thing like I loved the movie and that one thing. Kind of like all these crybabies that are crying about the Grand Inquisitors, Grand Inquisitor on the Obi-Wan trailer not having glowing eyes. They're like, "Oh, it just completely took me out of the movie. I can't handle it." It took me out of the. I just thought about it for 5 minutes in the movie, and then I was like, "Dude, you got to just keep paying attention and enjoy the rest of this movie. You can't just obsess." Yeah, but how did she do it? Yeah, but
just
no,
frozen that shit.
this shouldn't be happening
Frozen
now.
that shit. Frozen it.
They
Let
ruined
it
it.
go, let it go.
Ruined.
Uh,
Still
I
a good
did
movie.
actually, watch the Obi-Wan trailer, before we came on, and that looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, it looks
I mean,
fantastic. Are you kidding me?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I wonder, do you think we're going to get a Free Guy sequel?
I don't see well, I don't know. I mean, you sure? I mean, they can always go, "Yes, it did well enough." That I could see that happening,
It made a
and
lot
there's
of
a
money.
ton of places they could yeah, that's what I mean, and there's a ton of places they could go with it. Uh, like, I don't know, one of the other ones becomes, well, I guess they're all sentient at the end, but, one of the other ones becomes sentient and becomes a supervillain, and, I mean, that's an easy right there, there you go.
Done.
Yeah, one of the other guys become sentient and they want to take over the world, and it makes sense, and it would be a plot point that makes sense too because if they're modeled after humans, we're humans, and we all know that humans crave power. So
I just found
bada boom, bada bing.
www.cnet.com that said Free Guy sequel confirmed and more Kenneth Branagh. So yeah, a script for Free Guy 2 is nearly ready, and more sequels may be on the cards for 2021 hit, which starred Ryan Reynolds and Jodie Comer and Taika Waititi. Free Guy was a rare movie among a landscape of big sequels and franchise movies. Yes, it was. It was just came out of the woodwork. Nobody expected it to be that amazing, and it was good. So, Sword Art
So
Online always has a sequel. Yeah, so I don't know what Sword Art means.
so
Sword?
what?
Sword? Sword. Cool
How's that?
whip.
Why are you pronouncing it that
Because that's how
way?
it's spelled. Sword. Sword art.
Yeah.
Yeah, Morrissey was right, I guess, when he said, I am human and I need to be loved.
Well, he says belong. Is it belong or beloved?
He wrote
Because
the
I was
lyric wrong. I know the real lyric.
oh
Oh, it's an
snap. Because
anime. Okay, there you go.
uh, is it
Yeah.
on Hulu? Oh, Mel, I started watching Solar Opposites. You weren't here last week. I was talking about it the whole time, and you just fucking left me like a
Damn it. And
dirty dog in the street.
yeah, there was a fun cameo, Avengers cameo in this movie. It was hilarious.
Yes,
That
yes,
was good.
there is.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah, all those cameos and stuff, and it's fun. It's fun to have a movie like this that's not part of any kind of IP that's already known, and then to be able to like the way they do in different video games, where like, hey, I got this skin that's so and so or whatever that you can add to different games. I got this code for this. That they got to choose from all these Disney IPs to drop into this. You know what I mean? They got Star Wars and Marvel and different things popping into this movie, which was pretty cool.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, and I liked how. So getting back to relationships and stuff, I like the way this movie was written, where it's like it took her a while to figure. It took her a little bit long to figure it out, but that the code that the guy and the basically the foundation for the character, the code that this character was written, was based on the other co-creator's feelings for her. And he's like, I wrote him based on uh feelings, and basically you unlocked this guy because I wrote a character, because they had almost kind of a Sims kind of a real life character where you just watch characters living their lives. You don't really interact with them much or
Mhm.
kill anybody or anything. And he wrote his character about being in love with this girl who likes bubblegum ice cream and swinging on swings, and sings Mariah Carey songs and everything that basically is based on her. So when he saw her, he went for her, and like, and it took her till the end, but she finally realizes, oh shit, that guy. It's almost like Love Actually, when Keira Knightley watches the wedding video and then realizes that it's on me the whole time. And then it's like, oh, the best man is in
Snap.
love with me. This whole time has been infatuated and in love with me, and she realizes, and I was like, it took a little long for her to figure that one out, but she finally figured it out.
Yeah, honestly, that was even in a movie where there's artificial intelligence coming to life in a video game. That was the most unbelievable part of the movie, especially after he has that whole uh, the scene where he's like, and I wrote it like I wrote a guy. He basically tells her like
Yeah,
midway through the movie, like, and then she has to go back and look at that video at the end and be like, "Oh, he loves me." Like,
But she was so fixated on this relationship
yeah.
she's built with Ryan Reynolds' character, and then Ryan Reynolds tells her, "Hey man, goodbye, and I'm cool, and I'm based on somebody else." And then she's like, "Oh snap! I'm over here fixated on this fake version, and the real version
Oh
is
my
sitting right
gosh.
over. The real version went to get me coffee and just invited me
Yeah,
out." And I'm a douchebag because I'm in love with the virtual reality. Well, I'm in love with the AI. Um, yeah, man.
yeah, and she's
So
like,
so how
just
long? How long till we're all in love with artificial intelligence? What do you think?
uh 5, 10 years?
You think so? You think you'll have people? I mean, they're already
Like,
putting chips into animals. There's
like,
like,
I think it's like, honestly, like, yeah, I think it's gonna, like, gonna be 5 or 10 years to where, like, it'll be to where you could be on a social site and they can fake it enough. An AI could fake it enough to where you're like, "Oh, wow, they really dig me. They really get it." Because people fall for that shit now, and it's like, like,
yeah, it's like
noticeable.
an 11-year-old in like
Yeah,
the Philippines or somewhere
yeah,
that's sitting in an
yeah,
internet cafe that's typing stuff, speaks decent English and is typing stuff, and you
yeah,
fall for it. You get catfished.
and, obviously, they're preying on the lonely and stuff like that, and that's terrible, but, like, I think there's going to be if somebody's working on it right now,
Dude, Russian
and they're
bots.
going. But hopefully in a good way. I mean, like, you're correct, but I mean, like, in a good way where it's like, like, people are sad, people are lonely. Like, let's make a, virtual friend for them and this and that. Um, and like, I mean, things are progressing so fast. Like, if the world doesn't decide to go crazy, um, crazier, um, something like this, yeah, I could see like 5 or 10 years. You know, people being able to have virtual friends and uh again, I don't know if that means that the virtual friends will be sentient, but the if the people can't tell the difference, like, that's what matters to them,
Yeah, it's
and it could lead them to other friend groups of other, living individuals who have virtual friends and of the same mindset, and you know
it's. I'm trying to find a stupid joke to throw up on the screen, but I'm not gonna find it. It's getting it's getting wild though, to where it's like gonna be like, I'm gonna have to like send okay, which one of these photos doesn't have a crosswalk in it? You know what I mean? Or like the which one of these doesn't have a bridge in it, like to filter out the AI that's trying to talk to me? How long before the AI learns what a bridge looks like?
Oh, that's what I mean, like,
Oh
that's
crap, they
come on.
got me.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's nuts, dude.
because half the time I fail those things because it's like way in the corner, there's like a bridge, like the edge of
Exactly.
it's in the picture, and they're all, like, tiny, like, in your, like, thumbnails, and you're like, "I don't know, I
Is it?
guess
Yeah.
they look."
Yeah, it's wild, dude. It's going to be a matter of time before AI, and then the Cylons are coming, and then it's all over for us.
Why don't they have, like, instead of that, why don't they have a button where you can click record and go, "I'm not a fucking robot. Look at me, I'm not a fucking robot." Like, and then it's like some robot goes, "Oh, this is not a robot," unless you because, like, humans aren't monitoring that crap.
Yeah, how long till we don't care if they're robots or not? We're like, yeah, dude, that's my robot friend Data. Like he's cool.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean, like, I think that's coming, and here's the thing too, if your robot friends are designed to like you and agree with you, and, like, that's the worrisome part, is that
That's where it gets
this is
weird.
it's separating humanity even more, and you've got even more of your own bubble, because your robot friends agree with you and are on board with you and this and that. Your real friends are gonna be like, "No, that's fucking stupid, man. Don't do that." Like or they're gonna disagree with you and you're gonna fight, and then you get over it. And that's what real friendship is. Like, but people are gonna get used to these robot friends or these AI friends and like always agreeing with him and blah blah blah. And they're gonna be like, "Why am I gonna go fight with these real people when I can just hang out with my AI friends online?" And it's just
Yeah, I could like
I don't know.
I'll have like a YouTube channel that has like 100 bots that all talk in the chat and tell me how great the my YouTube show is, and I'll think I'm interacting with real people, real
Yeah.
viewers watching, and they'll be like, "Yeah," and this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great, and then I never leave the house.
Mhm. And we all become cattle. It
And
all
then
turns into Wally.
that's right. It's all fun and games till my electricity gets shut off. It's all then.
Yeah.
But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna invent a generator that has it's like bicycle pedals that I could sit here and I just sit online and I just pedal to keep the power going, and then I keep hanging out with you guys and I'm pedaling away.
I
So
wasn't going to bring
guys,
it.
what did you guys think of Free Guy? Yep, Ryan Re- Ryan Reynolds was outstanding. Yeah, I'm just peddling my electricity. That's how it's gonna work.
Well, I wasn't gonna bring up an episode of Black Mirror where that's have you seen that one? Where
No,
that's
did
the
that
future?
happen?
Literally, like people are segregated in society to where they do is ride on bikes to create electricity for others, and they can get out of it to like the whole society is based on entertainment, and so people like ride these exercise bikes to provide electricity so that they can and they have to like they live in the rooms that they live in are just completely covered with screens and they have to like watch all the stuff all the stuff and if they skip ads like it costs them money and like yeah it's that's
Black Mirror.
yeah that's all
There's some creepy episodes of that show. I need to go
yes
through and
yeah,
I've seen a couple, but I didn't watch everything.
yeah I haven't seen them all yet but I did see that
The
one
one about
like
I
it
saw
is
one of the first ones with the social score where the girls woo, excuse the yawn. The girl's having a bad day and she kind of gets into a tiff with somebody
wait
and they have a social
she
score.
had a bad day.
Oh no. Oh
Are you
boy.
telling me that she had
No.
had a bad day?
No, sir.
Well, afterwards, did she take a look around?
Yeah, it's
Maybe just sing a sad song and she turns it around. Is that what happened?
no, I need to go
But
now.
she did have a bad day. Something, something else.
No! Stop. Um yeah, man. Good times. So, let's get back to the movie.
You're,
You
you're thinking right now, I wish I had a fucking virtual friend right now.
yeah.
Fucking virtual friend that dude.
So, yeah, so basically essentially it turns into a rom-com at the end and she realizes this guy's loved me the whole time. Um and her creation becomes gets its own world and gets to exist over here and it's a happy ending. Who doesn't like happy endings? But like what did you think about this movie overall? You dug it?
I definitely dug it. Like I said, I'll probably watch it again in the next couple days with my kids. It
This
was
one
a
too?
good
You're gonna watch
movie.
Free Guy with the kids too?
I think so. Yeah, I think
They'll
so.
love it,
Yeah.
dude. Kids like video
Yeah.
games, man. They'll love it. They didn't
Yeah.
watch it with
Yeah.
you?
My son's, huh?
Your son didn't watch it with
No,
you?
because No, because I was gonna put it on, but they watched Horton Hears a Who for the last 2 days in a row. So, uh, like that's what they were watching. They weren't caring about it. I did show him the trailer, and he was like, "Yeah, that does look good." Um, so I'll probably at least with him, my daughter doesn't care about video games too much right now. Um, but yeah, my son's all about video games, so he'll probably check it out with me, and it'll be good stuff.
Hell yeah, man. Cool. So let's see. Was there any other news in the that we could talk about? Well, I'm gonna say I I can't tell which one I liked more, to be honest. Uh, which and you if you had to pick one, you would pick. You say you would pick the Atom Project.
I think so. I think so. Free Guy was definitely, probably more fun, but Adam Project made me think more. Now, I don't know if that's for everybody. Like, you know, like we talked about, I lost my dad and stuff, so I it made me think more. And I actually, like I said, I wanted more of that, but I know it was, family movie. And you don't want to get into these deep, stuff like that. And but like it hit a little harder. So I did like the Atom Project a little
I
bit more.
I did like those feels, like that, like
Yeah,
elements of that movie that made me think. I liked there's a point in that movie where he sees his mom in the bar
yeah.
and and like gets a like any of us that have had a bad day had a
Any of
bad
us that have
day. Don't do it.
just
No, but if found yourself sitting at a bar by yourself, thinking
and you
about the
take a look
world
around,
and dealing with stuff, and which I've done, and like, and there's just this moment where she's just sitting there having a drink and thinking about everything, and like, and he catches her at that moment and hears her venting to the bartender, and then gets to tell her what he wants her to know, and like he gets a second chance to let her know, hey, you're not doing a bad job, hey, to be supportive to his mom when he was at a time in his life when he's being a little shit. And it's like it's I don't know, it's cool. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
parents
yeah,
your parents are just people. um
and
I
it
was
takes a
like,
long time to realize that.
yeah, I was holding my breath for a minute. I thought there was going to get into like she gets a buzz and maybe starts trying to hit on him or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, where are they going with this? Because she's drinking a
Yeah,
glass of
yeah,
wine, and but I really liked, and I liked when he left that she almost recognized him. You know what I mean? Even
yeah.
though he's a full
Kind of
grown
realize
man and all
like,
that, she was like, where? She was desperate to find him, and he disappeared. You know what I mean? And same, the dad like recognized him as a full grown
immediate.
man,
Yeah,
even immediately, even though
yeah,
he's full grown man. So I like those elements, and I like the idea of a connection, a bond. Won't say psychic bond, but just a intuition, or
yeah.
just a
No.
that you get with your family, and
Hmm.
I thought that was cool. And Free Guy,
Yeah,
honestly, I really liked. I think a lot about when I hear about technology and people and how they're going to interact in the different things that are being developed in AI and all that. That's an interesting, fascinating subject, and I thought a lot about that when I watched Blade Runner the last time, and then even watched Blade Runner 2049, where you know the replicant is interacting with a hologram, but they actually have
right.
feelings for each other. And to me, it's a fascinating subject of the idea of artificial intelligence becoming intelligent enough that it passes for real
Yeah,
sentient being. That's a fascinating subject to me. And the moral boundaries of like what defines real love or real friendship or real, you know what I mean, like when does it when where's the line, and
I
how thin is the line going to be later in the future when it gets really smart. And then
and I
again, what defines those things? When can things replicate? Like, what if it learns how to replicate? Okay, yeah, well, it can't give birth. What if it learns how to give birth? You know what
right.
I mean? Like, anyway, go ahead. What were we
Yeah.
gonna say?
No, I was gonna say on to your point, like that was one of my favorite part of the movies too. Whenever he's talking to guy is talking to Buddy, and he says, like it's not like what if none of this is real? What if we're not real? Blah blah. Blah. And he's like, I'm here with my friend, trying to help him out of a bad situation. I'm here with my best friend. I'm trying to help him out of a bad situation. He was like, nothing's more real than that. Like I don't care what you're saying. Like this moment exists. Like this is happening. Like, this is real to me right now. Like, if nothing else is real, then but this is like, and that's you know, that's kind of the point. Like, we're all just a bunch of bald apes bumping into each other. Uh, the more we can help each other, the more real our existence becomes. Like, and it's because it's a shared existence, whether you like it or not. And get out there and help somebody.
Yeah. Well, this movie got me thinking a lot about that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
and whenever you start talking about that, you start talking about the Matrix, or like there's just a million questions and ideas and things that where my mind drifts off to. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah,
where we're headed, where what we're gonna be, what's gonna be just normal in like 20 years from now,
yeah,
or 50 years from now. Like what's gonna be like things that are completely unimaginable are going to be going on, and it's
yeah,
like it's going to be really strange if we make it that long, if we
yeah,
don't blow
yeah,
ourselves up, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, as long as we don't kill ourselves, we're gonna be all right. And that's the thing too, is that like things, all things are generational, because that's the thing. Kids are growing. To us, it was like cell phones. Look, this fucking guy can't get off his phone. Blah blah blah. Blah. And then once it became a computer in your pocket, it was a little bit different. But even then, like for the longest time, like I've turned into one. I'm not proud of it, but I was like, I never wanted to be a phone face. Like just anywhere you are, you stop and you got your phone in your face. I've slowly evolved into that. But like these kids, like this is just like normal. Like this. They've grown up, and this is the culture. This is it. And whatever new technology comes, whether it's virtual friends or whether it's you know, um, Google Glass or even an implant or whatever comes down the line, when they grow up with it, that's just their reality.
that's just
Like, you think
normal.
about a lot
Yeah.
of the things. Yes, that's I mean, and all of the things that you believe, it's because that's what you grew up with. That's until you get old enough to question and or validate those beliefs, with a logical mind, y- y- it's just because that's what you were told when you were growing up, or that's how it was when you were growing up, and that's why so many people are like, "Back in my day, we did this," and it's well, yeah, yeah, you did, but and some things are still right, and some things are still wrong, but like a lot of it's just cultural and temporal and stuff like that. Um, but um,
Yeah.
and society, the structures of society and all that stuff can't change as fast as technology now. It just can't. Okay. There was a time when it could, or it would be 5 years behind, maybe 10 years. Like now, eh, I mean, as a teacher, like in schools, like it's not keeping up, and it can't keep up. Like it just, everything that they are learning about in life is changing, and we can't
Well, yeah, you've got
teach.
Moore's law. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Moore's law. You know about that, right?
Well, no, what's a
Moore's
Moore's
law
law? I'm thinking
refers
of
to Gordon
it.
Moore's perception of the number of transistors on a microchip doubles every 2 years, though the cost of computers is half. Moore's law states that we can accept the speed and capability of our computers to increase every couple of years,
Mhm.
and we will pay less for them. Basically, before we could even get our infrastructures caught up,
Yeah.
the speed and like everything is like doubled. Like so
Right.
we're sitting here just getting 5G, like get
Mhm.
5G sorted. It's just going in. Dude, in like 3 or 4 years it's going to be like, dude, we're already ready for 7G. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be like practically obsolete. It's like we were still operating on
Mm.
old school
Right, by the time the
USB drives. By the
the
time
in infrastructure's built, and, like, everybody's got a 5G device, it's like, well, you're right, it's like, "Oh, well, okay, get ready for 7G,"
yeah,
like
we're sitting here and streaming on 1080p,
Mm,
and cameras like already 4K, and then now cameras are
yeah,
already going into 8K, and
Yeah.
there's like videos that you can watch, but we won't be able to stream like that for years because they don't have the internet is not fast enough. You know what I mean? Like our modems in here aren't fast enough to do that. Even though like I could make an 8K video and upload it, but I can't even though my cameras aren't
Yeah.
like I'll that's what's funny. It's like for me to upgrade my cameras to get cameras that can film me in like 8K, uh it's going to cost a lot of
Mhm.
money, or I could wait a few years. I could do us in
And, like,
I could
and
do
why
4K.
whenever it's gonna stream, yeah.
Yeah, by that time,
But
the like they're gonna start saying, "Yeah, man, we're ready for." By the time I buy new cameras to do that, they're gonna be like, "Dude, we're ready for 16K." Like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm upgrading to 4K. How you doing? You know,
well, and but here's what's interesting too, so, it was a good 5, or more years ago, 5 to maybe 10 years ago, uh so hologram TV is a real thing. Like it exists. It already exists. They've already done it so whenever I was a physics major, I mean they've already done it in several labs, in several colleges and stuff like that. It's just that getting the infrastructure to so transmitting a movie used to take forever, to download a movie, and then now it's super fast, and stuff like that. Well, holograms even more than that, but like hologram TV and movies and stuff exist. It's just getting the transmission, and someone has to record it, of course. Um, like they're like, yeah, this is like 5 or 10 years away now. It's been about 5 or 10 years, but like that's the thing. It like we could have it right now. It's just who wants to invest in it whenever you know yeah, like you got to have specialty. That might be the next thing for movie theaters. If they start dying, like they could make hologram movies right now and do it in theaters, you know. And that if theaters keep dying, then maybe that's the way they'll go. But like that,
broadcasted in
a lot of this
HG.
technology exists. Yeah, and that's like I said, that's what I mean, because it's like there's only so clear you can get, like, like
Yeah,
like you can do, 47K or whatever, and it's like, I don't need to see your pores, I love you, man, but I don't need
yeah.
to see your pores, like, it's like,
I heard
it's
somebody
just
saying like,
we
dude,
don't
you can't even really tell once you get past 1440. Like or
right,
1080p between 1080p and 4K is 1440, and there's like, and people say like, yeah, dude, I don't care what anybody says, you can't hardly tell. After that, that's about the cutoff. It's the same with audio. There's a certain level where it's like normal CD was 44.1, uh, and you can record in 48 kilobytes. There's 4K. You can do 96K. You can keep going, but after a while, you can't tell the difference. Like there's like
right.
your ears can only perceive so much. You know.
Yeah, and Mel makes a point too. She says the best cameras can see more colors than the human eye, and that's spectacular and wonderful. But if the human eye can't see it, like, what's the point? What are we
If
doing
the
here?
tree falls in the
Like,
forest, did it really fall? If that pixel was in lavender, was it fuchsia? Hmm?
Mulberry.
Mm? That was a very Bond villain. Oh, fuchsia?
Yes, it's
Mm?
just
Mm?
Mr. Bond.
It's like a German Bond villain living in a hollowed out volcano. Mr. Bond. Well, shoot, man, we're down to 5 viewers. It is 11 o'clock, and I think it might be time to shut it down, homie. We had a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
day today. We did small screen. Thank you to everybody who came over from small screen earlier today. We were on there for hours streaming, had a great time, and now we're here. We talked about our movies. Both of these were great. Catch us every week. We're here every Friday. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, click that notification bell. Let your friends know about us. Boom, 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 boom. Um, yeah, man, it was a good time, and we were talking about both of these movies today. Free Guy and Adam Project, two Ryan Reynolds soon to be classics. They were great. And so
And they are both streaming. Go check them out. I mean, like,
both
yeah,
solid,
they're not the best movies in the history of the world, but you'll definitely enjoy watching them.
but they were
And they're
fun.
not
Yeah.
super long. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're gonna dig them. They're gonna gonna
Hell
be
yeah.
worth the 2 hours or whatever they are. Right, standard movie time.
Well, what are we gonna do? We need to figure out what we're gonna do next week. What's the date? What's the date? Next week. Next, actually, next week I'm not doing anything. I have a. For those of you who don't know, I'm ordained, so I can marry my friends. And so I have a wedding next week, so I'm not going to be available to stream on next Friday. But next week is spring break, so keep an eye on Twitter and Facebook. Curtis and I are going to figure out some things to do. We may do a stream on. We may probably do a stream on that Thursday, which is it's not set in stone yet.
Patties.
I got to double check, but we may be doing a St. Patty's Day stream. So I got to double check some things, make sure that I'm not don't have a required thing that I don't know about. I got to check the books. But maybe you'll see us next Friday or next Thursday, excuse me, and otherwise, you'll see us every Friday right here on youtube.com/Clint Baker channel. Thank you for joining us. Curtis, thanks for hanging out with me, dude. Always having a good time hanging with you. And let's hit the outro. So we will see you guys next time.
Love you all. Thank you so much.
Good night, Mel. Good night, Ned. Good night, Ned is from Three Amigos. The turtle in the desert. Boom, 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 boom. Good night, Ned.